It's that time again. It's time for another checkup on the television ratings for the NBA playoffs. And for those of you that are new subscribers, new to the channel, the reason that we do this every week, sometimes a couple of times a week, is because you're not going to get the real story from the mainstream media. What the media likes to do, they like to pick and choose certain situations where the NBA beats their competition in the ratings and portray to us like everything is all good. The NBA ratings are surging. I saw a headline in the Los Angeles Times that claimed the NBA dunked on their ratings competition. Now, I'll give you an example, the one from the LA Times, of what I'm talking about. Both Game 7s in the Eastern Conference second round popped a decent rating for the NBA. Bucks Nets averaged nearly 7 million for Game 7. Hawks Sixers, just over 6 million. It was a bit strange, though, because before that, we had barely heard anything from the media regarding NBA ratings for the playoffs. Now, they were all excited when the play-in tournament popped a big number, but they went silent when ratings for the first round were down 7 to 11%. They remained silent throughout most of the second round of the playoffs until both Game 7s popped a decent number. But when you look at things objectively, like we do here on the channel, like the media is supposed to do, then the NBA's ratings, they tell a different story. I say this in every video I do on the NBA's ratings. I'm going to say it again because I always have several people who accuse me of denigrating the NBA, of not wanting the NBA to thrive. That's not the case. I love the NBA. The NFL and the NBA are the reason I created this channel. I want the NBA to do well, but my job on here is to tell you the truth. Just yesterday, I went after the NFL for sending a virtue signal to the woke community. Now, the NFL is my favorite league, but I'm not going to sugarcoat things just because I love the NFL. This is not an agenda-driven channel. I don't agree with woke politics. I don't agree with the political views of guys like LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. I've criticized Kevin Durant before for being a bit too soft. But all three of them, I've also defended them when it was warranted. So these videos are not me going after the NBA. I'm just giving you the truth about their ratings. The weekend of both of those Game 7s in the Eastern Conference, where the NBA popped pretty good ratings for both games, according to the LA Times, the NBA playoffs did account for 5 of the top 7 highest rated programs that weekend. Now, that's a good thing. But you notice I didn't say they were number 1. That's because, once again, the NBA playoffs got trounced by the PGA. Now, the last time the NBA got the hell beaten out of them by golf, the media claimed it was because older white America was tuning in to watch Phil Mickelson win the PGA Championship. He trounced LeBron James in the ratings that weekend, beating them actually by a few million people. The weekend of the NBA's big rating spike for the second round of the playoffs, they were beaten by the US Open by over 2 million viewers. Jon Rahm won the US Open. Not exactly what I would call a mainstream golfer. Most people who don't keep up with the PGA have probably never heard of Jon Rahm, whereas Phil Mickelson is a household name. But that's okay, it's no big deal. I mean, seriously. The NBA did well that weekend. I'm not going to take that away from them. You got to give credit where credit is due. But what about ratings for the conference finals? I've told you guys that the NBA could be in trouble for the conference finals because besides Giannis, all of the superstar players have been eliminated from the playoffs. I said we were going to find out if Giannis was truly a ratings draw. Some people criticized me for it, claiming that this was great for the NBA. We're going to see a new champion. New stars will be born. All of that is true. But the problem is NBA ratings have been in decline for years now. They need a strong showing this year for the playoffs. And when you're a star-driven league and all of your star players are at home watching games on the couch like the rest of us instead of participating on the court, then you could be looking at a serious problem in terms of television ratings. Honestly, NBA ratings haven't been what I would call bad for the conference finals, but we are still seeing massive declines. NBA ratings are not great. Game 5 Monday between the Suns and the Clippers, 5.7 million people. That is not good. Games in the conference finals should be hitting 8 to 10 million. Back in 2019, the NBA was seeing games in the second round average over 7 million viewers. What makes this even worse? This was the NBA's third largest audience for the postseason. Number 1 and number 2 were the pair of Game 7s in the second round of the Eastern Conference. Game 5, Suns Clippers. The most watched game on ESPN since the 2019 Western Conference Finals, which hit damn near 8 million people. Game 4 last Saturday, 5.5 million on TNT. Down 40% from Warriors Blazers in 2019. 40%! There is nothing the media can say to convince me that the NBA is back, when we're seeing a 40% decline in the ratings for the conference finals. Now let's shift over to the Eastern Conference, Hawks Bucks. Now if you want a fair comparison, this is the perfect situation. Giannis and the Bucks were involved in the Eastern Conference Finals back in 2019. They played the Raptors. This is the perfect situation to find out if Giannis really is a ratings draw. He's going up against himself before he went woke. Giannis wasn't woke back in 2019, so how are he and the Bucks faring in the ratings in comparison to 2019? Game 3, Hawks-Bucks, 5.6 million. 16% decline from 2019. I saw one article that said the Hawks-Bucks series was facing unusual competition from the U.S. Olympics gymnastics trials. Yet another lame excuse by the media. I don't have any scientific data of this, but I would be willing to bet the NBA's target audience, their demographics, they are not checking for the gymnastics trials for the Olympics. That had absolutely no effect on the ratings decline for the NBA playoffs. All right, Game 3, Bucks-Hawks. It was the 10th game of the postseason to average more than 5 million viewers. Last year in the bubble, only 2 games hit the 5 million mark before the NBA Finals. NBA ratings are back, right? They're surging. Back in 2019 at this point, 14 playoff games had already eclipsed 6 million viewers, which essentially means in the span of 2 years, the NBA has lost over 1 million viewers from the playoffs. And I should say, they've lost 1 million casual viewers. Game 2, Hawks-Bucks. Only 3.7 million people bothered to watch this game, down 29% from 2019, and one of the least watched conference finals games in the history of the NBA. Hell, it was even down from last year in the bubble, which was going up against the NFL and college football. The NBA is basically running unopposed right now. I say that because you're supposed to be the second most popular league in the country. The PGA should not be competing with you. Olympic trials should not be competing with you. NASCAR should not be competing with you. The question remains, why are people not watching the NBA playoffs? It was thought by some, with the elimination of LeBron James, that some of the casual viewers that were turned off by his woke politics last summer would return to the NBA. Now, the NBA playoffs have been phenomenal this year. They really have. This is one of the best postseasons in quite some time. So why are people not watching? I'll tell you why. The thing about a casual viewer of anything, once you lose them, it is damn near impossible to get them back. Take me, for instance. I was a casual NHL viewer growing up. I watched throughout the 90s, some of the 2000s, but I wasn't a die-hard NHL fan. I would check them out here and there in the regular season. I would watch for the playoffs, watch the Stanley Cup Finals, but that was about it. I was a casual viewer of hockey. When the NHL went on strike in 2004 and missed an entire season, I just lost interest. I mean, I wasn't mad they went on strike. I just lost interest. I forgot about them. By the time they returned for the 2005 season, they had lost their television contract with ESPN. You could not find an NHL game on national TV. And I haven't returned to the NHL since. And that's been over 15 years ago. It's the same thing with the NBA. All those casual fans the league turned off last year because of their wokeness, They're not coming back. The NBA receives more positive free publicity from the sports media than any other league. You can't pay for the level of promotion that the NBA receives. Yet people are continuing to tune out. What do you guys think of the latest NBA ratings? Are you surprised? Did you think that they would be higher with LeBron James out of the playoffs? Sound off in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.